Is there any evidence in history of a vaccine working?
I'm sorry?
Is there any evidence in history of a vaccine working?
Depends on how you define working.
Okay, expand on that.
Okay.
I think with Bobby Kennedy, I brought up smallpox, and he corrected me quickly and kind of said it wasn't what you thought it was, and it was actually this, and they would have developed that immunity without it. I'm not that versed in it, but we all assume that there is some science in vaccines, and there's some history of this working. Is that right or wrong?
Again, it's dependent how you define working. If it means that you stopped an infection, no. Can you stop the spread of infection in a short term? Yes. For example, measles and chickenpox, both the incidence rate of those two infections went down because of the vaccine in the short term blocks the transmission. That's how it works. But it doesn't keep me necessarily from contracting measles or chickenpox. But as soon when I get the vaccine, in that short-term period of that antibody boost, if I'm exposed to measles or chickenpox, I don't pass it on to the next person. So does it block the transmission? Yes. So if you call that working, okay. But smallpox and polio are two different things, and that's a really long discussion.
Okay.
but there's the trade-off. The trade-off is, should kids get measles and have long-term lifetime immunity, particularly little girls, that they can pass on real antibodies to their infants? Yes, they should be able to do that, but they don't. And should we should have chickenpox? Yes, we should. Because of the chickenpox vaccine, humans are the only known host of the varicella virus. So we've dropped the incidence rate of chickenpox down to like, it doesn't really exist in the wild anymore. So rarely, you can't hardly count it. But if you and I had chickenpox when we were a kid, if our body didn't completely clear out chickenpox virus, and it's buried inside of the nerve roots in our spinal cord, how we kept that virus in check and kept it suppressed for all of the years, our entire life, was being re-exposed to kids that had chickenpox. Now that doesn't happen. That virus doesn't stay in check anymore, and it's popping out and causing shingles. We used to only see shingles in immunosuppressed people, in the very elderly, people with diabetics, people on chemotherapy. Now we're seeing shingles in kids. So what do we do to that? What do we do to respond to that? Instead of going, wow, given this chickenpox vaccine and eliminating this virus from society, which never really caused much pathology at all, instead of saying, we need to stop this chickenpox vaccine, this was a bad idea, we made a mistake, we need to let kids have chickenpox. What do we do instead? We developed a shingles vaccine. So now we're developing vaccines in response to problems we've caused with vaccines.